Alright, so this is a tutorial for scanning with the Topcon GLS 2000. As you can see on the screen, well, whenever we first fire it up, it's going to ask you for a scan description name. So as you can see, we already gave it a description. So this is L3 7200, which is a description. Each scan is going to have a different description. For instance, today we're on level 3, point number 7200. So that's why we put that name, just to keep track of the scans that we've done. So this is mainly the home screen. You have your setup, your configuration, in case you have different types of prisms. And this data view is to see how many scans you've done. That way you won't rescan areas that you don't need. As you can see here, this is your battery life, how much battery you have. We're full. We got full battery today. This is to plumb your level. This is a SD card in case, so you can see if you have enough space for another scan. This one here is for the type of scan that you're going to do. As far as precision, this one here for the camera is just gonna ask you what type of pictures you want to take, if it's wide angle or small pictures. And this home button is basically what this is. Once you get into one of these, you press home and it'll take you back to this screen. Once you've done your setup and everything, you'll press start scan. And this is in case you have targets somewhere, but we normally use prisms, so we don't use the targets. So first thing you want to do is plumb your scanner. As you can see, we already plumbed the scanner. Well, here's another look. When you plumb your scanner, it's going to automatically shoot a laser to the point, so you can center yourself up on a point. See, so we got the point number there, the control point, and our laser's right in the center, right there. So our setup is good. So once we done all that, you know, we just press OK. After we're done with the leveling of the scanner, we go to setup. So this is where it's going to ask you for an occupied point, your HI, your height of a scanner, and your backside point. So today we're on point number 7200, and normally whenever you pop up to the screen, it's going to show a lot of zeros. So in case we don't have the point number already, we just go down the list and we just choose from the points that we have already put in there. And say if you want to recheck your coordinates and everything, make sure your elevation is right for your point, you just click on the point number and it gives you your X, Y, and Z. So it gives you your point number and your coordinates and your elevation. We have already imported everything, so our elevation is 7207, which is 1/8 below the finished floor here. So it says point name already exists. Do you want to override? So we always press yes, or press cancel. So our backside is 7240. So as you can see, we go down the list, and in case we press this by accident, we just press cancel and it'll take you back to the screen. So here you can see that our coordinates already in there, our elevations is the same. So now we're ready to get backside. But first of all, before we do anything, we normally take the top off. You know, because we're gonna do a 360 scan today, so that way we won't have an open circle on the top. You just take it off carefully. This typically does unscrew. So that way we could do a 360 scan. So once we done all that, you know, we press backside scan. So what it does now is switches to the camera lens. So what we do, we just turn it towards the prism. Obviously we have low light here because of the rain. So we look for the prism right now. So we're gonna put a flashlight on the prism right now. Okay, so now we have the flashlight on the prism. So here you have your different icons. So you have your prism. If you're not gonna shoot prism, there's another one so you can shoot targets. But we don't usually use targets. We usually use prisms. So then, if you could, maybe you could see the prism right here in the center. So we switch over to a different camera, the one that zooms in. So we're gonna zoom. Towards the prism. So you got your zoom buttons here. So that has it right there. So once we locate the prism, we're gonna press start. So right now it's gonna try to locate the prism and scan the prism to make sure that everything's good. So as you can see right now, it's scanning, it's looking for the prism, it's gonna scan it. It does an internal calibration, make sure that everything is fine. This will usually take about a minute or two. Alright, so it's picking up the prism, so it's scanning the prism right now, and it'll give you a percentage of how much it's scanned. Alright, so once it's done scanning, it's going to process the scan internally, and that way you can check how much you're off, if in case you're off. Okay, so now that we're at 100%, it'll show me the scanning of the prism. So we press OK. Once we've done that, we check our backside, we check the distance. So it's giving us a calculation of our distance and the raw distance. So this is about an eighth of an inch off. So we're gonna go ahead and do this scan for right now. Once we've done all that, we press OK. It says, are you sure you want to change the information of L3 72,000? Yes, 72. Okay, so now let me show you the functions of this. If you go to this D, it's gonna ask you if you want to scan an area of a specific zone or if you want to do a 360 scan. The resolution, you have a 1/8 of an inch, a quarter, half an inch, 1 inch, or 2 inches. We typically do a 1/4 inch, you know, that way it won't be so big of a file and you can still see enough points. The 2 inches, we hardly ever use it, but you know, that's just a smaller, quicker scan in case you just want to scan something. If you want to scan a specific area, it's going to tell you to aim top left, and once you do that, it's going to ask you to aim at the bottom right. That way you could get like a rectangle view, and so you're going to scan everything inside of those corners. But today we're going to do a 360 scan. So once we figured all that, our scan approximately is going to be about 8 minutes and 6 seconds. So since we are going to do a 360 scan, we already took the top off, so we're ready to scan. So all we do is just press start scan. So the first thing the scanner does is take pictures. That way, whenever it starts scan, it can implement the picture to the scan. So right now we got a remaining time of 1 minute, 12 seconds for the pictures. So as you can see, it's rotating, taking pictures of the area. And it typically uses a wide angle lens, so that way it can capture everything. We usually have to get out the way, or else if it takes a picture of you, it's gonna put you in the scan. So your picture would be on columns or slabs. All right, so once it's done taking the pictures, it's gonna start scanning. So it says right there, capturing image finish. So now the remaining time for the scan is 6 minutes, 54 seconds. So as you can see, the scanning already started. So it's just rotating, just shooting a laser, it's shooting millions of points per scan. All right, we'll come back when it's finished. Okay, so the scan is at 100% now. So it's gonna show you a preview of the scan that you just did on the small window. And this is, for instance, since we did a 360 scan, we know we got everything that we needed. But I guess if you're gonna scan a zone and you miss something that you wanted on this corner, you know, you could always add another scan to the same file since you already got backside. But this is just a small preview of what you scanned. So then you press OK and you're done.